Smile, John. I encourage you to look at this. I'm going to look for that one relative pronoun if it's there. I'm going to be looking for names, graphics, conclusions. I too am going to be looking for conclusions. I'm looking for examples of development, examples of your topic in these periods of history, and I'm also looking for effects. Okay? So make sure if it's not in your presentation, you at least talk about it, perhaps. Okay? Let's take another minute, and we'll begin. Have this over here. Each group should get one of those. Can you guys go back to your seats? Let's return to your seats. Winky, can you sit in the front, please? Thank you. Can you take out your exercise book as well, your history exercise book? You guys should have your history exercise book open. You guys over here, what are you looking for? This column over here, these two columns. What are you looking for in this presentation? about you guys over here? What are you looking for in this presentation? You're looking for an example of a similarity, a comparison. Tell us what exactly they compare. Okay? You guys over here, what are you looking for? You're looking for a difference, something that they contrast. You guys over here, what are you looking for? Alright, you're seeing, first, if they actually conclude anything. Alright, if they conclude something, write down what they conclude. Write down one thing that they say is different. Write down one thing that is similar. Right? And finally, coming back to you guys, you have the easiest job. You're just looking for names or dates or places. Alright? Give me an example of one thing that they list and describe. So, while I'm marking you, you are looking to see whether they do evaluate, whether they analyze, whether they present knowledge. Okay? One last thing. One last thing. Even you, Michael White, glad you're here. You're awake. That's good. When we're presenting, alright, this is not an evaluation of actually how you present. It's not. But when you're presenting, where should the presenter be presenting? That is, if you have 4 people up here, alright, let's just prompt you before you do it. Where should the 4 people be? Or where should different people be when you're up here? We want to manage the space wisely up here because there's not too much space. You got 4 people. Where should the person who is speaking be? I'm just asking you. I'm sure we haven't done too many presentations in English class or in history class, but I'm sure that in other lessons you actually present things. Where should the speaker be? Like during reading time, where is the speaker? Where does the speaker stand? Over there, over there, over there? Generally over here. So if you're speaking, you perhaps don't want to be over here talking to the monitor. You will have this here. You can be over here. Maybe you need someone to click on the slides. Okay, you have someone over there. If you're not doing anything, well, try not to be over here. Okay? So, this is just notification. Let's try to use the space wisely. Let's try to present well. I know I'm not actually marking you on how you present this information. I'm concerned more about the information itself, but at least let's try to do a good job when we're up here. Alright? Does anyone want to go first? We're going to try to get through as many as possible. After every presentation, I'm going to ask each column what you saw. Give me an example of a name, give me an example of comparison, give me something, an example of a difference. Tell me what they concluded. Okay. Anyone? How about I just call on you? Let's do Peggy, Nicholas, Samuela, Michael, and Penny first. You guys come on up. Can you give me your marking sheet too? Can I get that as well? Thank you. Let me see if I can move this further away. Oh, there's no battery in here. Can one of you guys explain what you're going to do? Okay, is there a problem?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I think there's a problem with the script thing because that computer doesn't have the latest Flash player, so there are technical difficulties in trying to actually view
You need to download
the Flash player. Yeah,
Yes.
I know. Okay. All right. Let's actually get someone else then. Who here actually has a USB PowerPoint? Now, someone actually raising their hands? Jeremy, Kelly, okay. Jeremy, you want to come on up? Sunny, Nathaniel, Hilda, and Jeremy. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, guys, take a seat. There are too many technical difficulties. Do you guys have a worksheet as well? Can I get one of those?
What do you do?
Sorry. Okay, can we get the other lights, please? Okay, thank you.
This time we are going to compare the transportation between Hong Kong and Industrial Revolution. Our group member has Hilda, Jeremy, Nathaniel, and me, Sunny. At that time, bicycle was one of the most convenient transports. However, rich people used rickshaws and litters. Cars were invented later, but they used steam as energy. They were dangerous, slow, weak, and did not have high capacity. Longer bridges and tunnels were built. New bridges were better than the old ones. Trains using steam as energy were invented also. Like cars, they were slow and dangerous. Ships that used steam as energy were also invented. They were mainly used in wars or for traveling to other countries. Canals were also invented for linking towns, rivers, and oceans. Balloons and airships were the earliest aerial transport. However, airships could easily explode because of using hydrogen.
Airplanes were invented, but they were dangerous and human powered at that time. In Hong Kong, most buses have air conditioners, have
Most of the transports in the past did not have high capacity, good environments, and were not safe. The modern transports have. However, the transports in modern Hong Kong are improvements of transports in the Industrial Revolution. So we should not look down the old transport with low qualities. If they were not invented in that time, Hong Kong will become very inconvenient because they had no good transportation. In the future, we will have better transportation so we can enjoy them later. Invention of transportation is sustainable. This is our list of references. Thank you.
Okay. Kelly's group, can you come on up? Get ready. Boys and girls, I'm going to go, watch your step. I'm going to go through each column. Someone just tell me one thing, all right? One name or one place that you've heard or read. One thing, if there was anything that was being compared. One thing, if there was anything that was being contrasted. One thing that was concluded. I wanted you guys to read and to listen and to write it down. Alright? So you don't forget. Let's try. You guys over here, we're going back to you. It's the easiest thing. Give me one name, one place, or one date that you saw. Yes, Annie? Ocean Park. Give yourself a tick. So they listed Ocean Park there. Good. That's all we wanted. You guys over here, what is one thing they compared? Did they compare anything at all? I'm just asking. Yes or no? Yes, Karen?
The capacity of the transport.
Excuse me?
The capacity of the transport.
Okay. So they compared the amount of people that each transport could hold. Give yourself a tick. You guys over here, did they contrast anything? Did they say anything was particularly different? Yes, Winky.
They said that the Industrial Revolution and the transportation were not safe and Hong Kong transportation were safe.
Okay.
And have good environment.
Give yourself a tick. So, Winky is saying that in their presentation, they said that transportation is safer in Hong Kong now than it was during the Industrial Revolution. Something, though, that I don't think I heard that you should have pointed out, though, is we're talking about modern Hong Kong. All right? Because if you're talking about Hong Kong during the mid-19th century, the transportation is more or less the same, isn't it? So it's still unsafe. I mean, a rickshaw could get hit by another rickshaw or something, and then it's game over for everyone. Okay? Over here, what did they conclude? What is one thing that they concluded? I just need one person. John.
We should not look down the cars invented by people in old days.
Okay, why should we look down on those things?
Because they invented the cars so we can take the cars nowadays.
Okay, give yourself a tick. Alright. We had to invent these things before we can invent the things that we have now. That's why we should perhaps look down on transportation from the past. Okay? Thank you. Oh, by the way, do you happen to have your sheet? Did you give that to me? Thanks. All right. Thank you.
Renaissance style places emphasis on symmetry, proportion, geometry, and the regularity of parts as they are the most presented in the architecture of the classical antiquity and in particular the architecture of ancient Rome, of which many examples contains orderly arrangement of conferences, parameters, and features, as well as the use of symmetric wall arches, symmetrical
boys and girls. 5, listen. 4, 3, be still. Now be quiet. 1. I actually like this presentation a bit more than the first one because they explicitly stated the similarities and differences. And I think that was good. They actually had a slide that said, this is what's similar, this is what's different. Right? And I enjoyed that. Okay, let's go through the taxonomy. What is one thing that they listed? Let's do, okay, Gary.
Former French perspective.
Okay, give yourself a tick. So they included that example. What is one thing that they compared? One thing that was similar? I'm assuming all of you did this, so I'm going to call on you otherwise. All right, Lewis. Look, they both have. Okay, so both periods have large domes. Great. By the way, large domes is a characteristic of which kind of architecture? Yes, the Greco-Roman style. All right, large domes. Okay, next, what did they contrast? Anyone besides Winky? Okay, Winky, go ahead. Next time I'm going to call on someone else. Yes.
Architecture of Hong Kong didn't have any specific features.
Oh, give yourself a tip. So if you take a look at the architecture of Hong Kong right now, there's nothing too distinctive about it. It's constantly changing. They're tearing down old buildings too, destroying architecture as well. So perhaps there's nothing too distinctive about it as opposed to going to Florence or Rome and seeing that kind of architecture there. Finally, what is something that they concluded? Okay, Sunny.
Building in some modern countries still use Renaissance style.
Okay, give yourself. So the Renaissance style of using the domes and using the columns can still be seen today. All right, in some countries. Is there anything else that they concluded? Yes, John.
Hong Kong building can show the style of British architecture.
Okay, give yourself a tick. They also say that, in conclusion, in Hong Kong, you can still see the British influences here. All right, British influences in architecture. Okay, sounds good. Let's talk about public health right now. Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. We're going to switch. You guys look for something that is on the knowledge level. You look for the names, dates, places now. You look for something that's being compared. You look for something that's being contrasted. You guys look for the conclusion now. I need all of you guys to write something down because I'm going to call on you soon. Okay? Go ahead.
Okay, this time we're comparing the Middle Ages and the early 20th century of Hong Kong.
Firstly, let's talk about the concept of health. In the Middle Ages, people thought that why do we became sick? Because God sent us diseases to punish their sins, and so this is why they got sick. And they don't think there's virus, there's bacteria to make them sick.
And this time we're talking about Black Death. And if you know something about Black Death, I think you must have seen this picture before. Because this is the doctor, they think this kind of wearing can protect them from infected by the bacteria. It looks like quite interesting and ridiculous for this this kind of dressing. And that picture is the patient that is suffering from the Black Death. And tell you something more why this is called Black Death is because when the patient that infected this bacteria, they will become after they die, they will become all black. Their skin become black.
And for the concept of early 20th century in Hong Kong, people know more and they believe that people got sick when they have bacteria or virus in their body. But Chinese people didn't believe in Western medicine and they just believe in Chinese medicine.
And this time we are comparing give you some example. In the Middle Ages, it's Black Death, as I told you before, and the early 20th century in Hong Kong is bubonic plague. And actually, they are the same disease. But this is the first pandemic. It means the whole world is almost infected. And this is the third time. And it is about after 600 years, that is the third time. So this bacteria is very, very awful. So the Middle Ages, this is the same, the bubonic plague, and the time period is about 1347 and 1351. It is the first pandemic, and it's caused by the Yersinia pestis, and it's carried and spread by rats and bees. And say, be careful of this one. 30% and 60% of Europeans were killed. Imagine Hong Kong, half of the Hong Kongese were gone. They all died. It's very awful. And in Hong Kong, the third pandemic, and is time period since 1894, is also caused by the Yersinia pestis and carried and spread by rats and bees. And 2,552 people were killed. And the 2003, the SARS only, well, sorry, not only, killed 229 people. And that's 299?
The 2003 SARS just killed 299 people. But in this one, they killed 2,552.
And that is the biggest disease that Hong Kong has.
When there's diseases, then actually their government must have their action. For the Middle Ages, actually they don't have government. Who control them? Actually the church control them, as they believe that people got sick because the God sent them diseases to punish their sin. And so actually they don't really help the people who are sick. And usually they give them. But for that doctor at the picture before, actually that doctor just helped the one who are rich. But for the early 20th century of Hong Kong, the first thing the government do is announce Hong Kong as the epidemic zone. And that means Hong Kong is a place that there's a diseases here, and usually they don't let people in other countries come.
And all the cops which were dead by the bubonic plague must be caught by the government. And all infected people must be isolated and sterilize their infected people's home. It means just to make sure there are no more bacteria in their house to infect people.
Actually, this means clean their home. Just the action from the government is not enough. And in the Middle Ages, there's no charity. In Hong Kong, there's a charity called Tung Hua Hospital. Let's talk about what is the background information about Tung Hua Hospital. The Tung Hua Hospital was established in the 1870s. And this is the first charity in Hong Kong, which was established by Chinese people.
That provide Chinese-style medical treatment at first, and after the bubonic plague, which happened in 1894, Western medical treatment was started in the hospital.
Actually, this one, the there are Chinese people, they want to come here because, as we said just now, that Chinese people, they didn't believe the Western medicine. And before this time, Tonghua Hospital is having their Chinese medical treatment, and most of the Chinese people, they believe that, and they will go to this place.
And at that time, when the Central Hospital, it means use the Western style treatment, that hospital only got one patient of the plague. But there was already 20-something people in this Tonghua Hospital, and it can show that Chinese people just want to use Chinese medicine and don't believe in Western style.
And after the introduction and also all the explanation before, this is the conclusion of our presentation. In between this about 500 years, between the Middle Ages and also the early 20th century of Hong Kong, people built up their knowledge on medicine, and also their concept had been changed while they knew more about medicine.
And I'll give you an example.
I like examples.
See, this picture is small, but you can see these people were almost naked and using something to beat themselves. And why they're doing that? Why they're doing that? Because they thought that God sent this kind of punishment to them. And they thought that they can use to beat themselves, to wash away their sin by pain, by hurting themselves. They're self-molester. But Hong Kong people don't do that because they know that bacteria is the cause of the diseases and not the God. That's the very improvement.
Actually, this is the end of our presentation. For more information, actually you can go to Wikipedia, because most of our information came from Wikipedia, and that's Chinese and also English version explanation. Thank you.
I really like that. I just want to add something to what they've said about the plague. Have I told you about saying God bless you after sneezing? Have I actually told you about that? I told my 1R kids. I know you don't do it here in Hong Kong, but Westerners, especially in America, after you sneeze, people say bless you or bless you, because this was something that was started during the Middle Ages, during the Black Plague, Black Death. People obviously, as Janet was just saying and Karen were saying, people believe that you got sick because of God. That is, why is half of Europe dying? Because God is just punishing you. So what are you going to do? If God is punishing you, well, hopefully, let's just say that God is blessing you. So one of the popes in Rome, the leader of the church, he was like, oh, well, because God is punishing us, let's bless each other instead. Which is why people in Europe, foreigners, began getting into this habit of saying after you sneeze, God bless you, God bless you. That started during the Middle Ages, because people were, again, thinking that God was trying to kill us. So let's say instead, God bless you. And in fact, there are many different ways to say it in different languages. In Spanish, it's salud, which means health. In Germany, it's Gesundheit, which means, I guess, God, I think it means God bless you. So this was established in Europe 500 years ago, 600 years ago, 700 years ago, and it's still with us today. I still say it in the staff room when people sneeze. I say, bless you. Right? I don't think my colleagues know what it means, but it's started because of this, the Black Death in Europe. All right? So anyway, I think that was pretty good. One last thing. she was mentioning about self-flagellation. That is, the people whipping themselves. You know, people, again, were very little confused. Why is God punishing us? Let's punish ourselves. So they start whipping themselves. Self-flagellation. That still exists today. There are people who, you know, if you've seen the Da Vinci Code, I mean, this is just something, where they wear these things, where they basically try to discipline themselves through physical pain. And that's interesting.
They're Muslim.
Muslim people do it too, I suppose. Christian people do it. Muslim people do it. I mean, you do all kinds of things for your faith. And if you think physical pain is going to help you, you're going to do it. You're going to hurt yourself. I mean, that's just the way it works. Right? Okay, quickly. Over here, give me something that they listed. Name, date, or place. Alright, yes, Carmel. They named the Black Death. Give yourself a tick. What is something that they compared?
Both Hong Kong and Middle Ages, both the disease was caused by Yersinia pestis and carried by rats and pigs.
Give yourself a tick. So this Black Death, throughout history, it's still the same. Caused by the same bacteria, carried by the same silly insects and animals. Alright. What's different though? Yes, Mandy.
There was no charity in the Middle Age, but in Hong Kong there is someone else.
Give yourself a tick. So when you get sick in the Middle Ages, what's going to happen? You're just going to die. Just say goodbye. But at least here, if you're poor and you're sick, you might get saved. You might get some help. Alright, there might be a social service in Hong Kong to help you. Okay? Finally, what did they conclude? What is one thing that they concluded? Yes, Annie. What was the big change? Okay, good. This is something else that we've been talking about, especially with transportation. You're building knowledge about medicine, right? And eventually, from the Middle Ages to Hong Kong, there's a huge change now in the way people think, right? But it wouldn't have happened if we didn't actually have these like Black Death, Black Plague, bubonic plague things in the Middle Ages. We learned more about disease. It took 700 years, but finally we're not beating ourselves. Okay? That's good. Give yourself a tip. You people over here, I expect more from you, not just the two people here. You guys need to pay attention. Just write something down. Alright, I want you to be active. Okay. Finally, who's next, by the way? Any takers? John, your group.
So we lost the conclusion because we uploaded on the screen of the full PowerPoint.
Can you conclude then just here? Can you conclude? Awesome. You guys have to listen carefully because they don't actually have a slide. You're going to have to listen to them. Alright? I want a good conclusion from you guys.
Today we are going to present the education systems of 3 English schools that I've joined our members is Andy and Franco. Then we have 6 things to compare. First is the environment of the campus. Second is the history of the school. Third is the famous old boys or alumni of the school. Because we will compare 3 schools and 2 of them are boys' schools. History of the school and the achievements of nowadays. Difference of public schools and missionary schools. Missionary schools means that just like the school like us is organized by some charities or church. And difference between boys' school and co-educational school. And co-educational school like us is a boys and girls school. First, we will see an example of Eton College. It's a very, very famous school of England. It's the best school of England. Many people said that it's the best school of England. And it's a boys' school. So we can see that the campus is the Windsor of England. It's near the Thames River. That means this is the campus, and that is outside that's also inside the campus. The campus is near the river, just next to the river. And this buildings is the buildings of Eton. It's a very big school that I think is just like the Kowloon of Hong Kong, the area of Eton. And the history of Eton is very long. It's since 1440. It's not until now, and it's over than 550 years. And it's a public school, but if you need to get a school fee, it's very expensive. And famous old boy is Prince Wales. That is Prince William of England. Eton was a school set up for the poor at first, but it became a local school nowadays. Students must pay more than 400,000 a year for studying here. It's more expensive than studying in the university.
400,000 Hong Kong dollars?
Yes. Then the next school I need to present is Queen's College. And it's got the most A's in the third exam. And it's the boys' school of Hong Kong Island, and that is also very famous. That is the campus of Queen's College. It's in Causeway Bay. That is, we can see the square meter of them. That I just find it from the EMB website. It's over than 10,000. It's more than 16,000 square meter. That is quite a big school in Hong Kong, because we will see another school that you know that how school is. So we can see the campus of Queen's College. It's not a high building, it's just some low buildings, it's just 2 floors. But they got a big land in Causeway Bay. And the students are all watching some things here, the shows here. So just like in the market, they're watching the shows there. And they're sitting here and they're watching the show just outside the classroom. And the history of Queen's College is also very long. They are 1862 until now. This is over than 140 years history. And there's some famous old boy, we can see that is Mr. Sun Yat-sen, our father of revolution, Chinese Revolution. He has been studying at Queen's College as his medical treatment at Hong Kong University. Many famous people in Hong Kong have been studying at Queen's College. And like Professor Stephen is a very famous economist professor. And also Stanley Ho, the gambling boss of Macau. And achievements nowadays, Queen's College is the first public school of Hong Kong. And 50 students who got 10 A's in the exam come from Queen's College, which is the amazing results of Queen's College. They got 50 10 A's students from about 1970s until now. And the third school we compare is Methodist College. So and the campus is in here, Gascoigne Road. And why I said that is very small, because it's just 3,200 something square
That's
meter.
small.
Yes.
How large is Eton College again?
Eton College is about Kowloon International.
Size of Kowloon.
Yes. That we are just the basic. Eton College is a big small. And history of us is 50 years. And the famous alumni, I can't find it. And achievements nowadays is English school in English middle school in Kowloon. Let us see our conclusion is that the difference of public school and missionary schools. We can see that the public school has a long history, but also some of them, like Hong Kong New Territory, is just 10 or 20 years. But the public school, if the public school has a long history, they also can have a good results in the third exam or something. And then the difference between boys' school and co-educational school. Because there are no boys' school or because there are no co-educational school in the past, so co-educational school just these years is more co-educational school, but there's a very famous co-educational in Hong Kong Island system, Poco. That is the one of the earliest co-educational school in Hong Kong. So that you can see that the history of the school can influence the results and achievements nowadays, and that is our conclusion. You can also see that the campus of the school is related to their history. The school which have a longer history, they will have a bigger campus, greater environment, greater campus. Just like Eton College, they have more than 500 years, and they have a campus just like Kowloon Campus. That is the end of our presentation.
All right. Quickly, boys and girls. We're going to finish these next week. I expect even better. From those of you who have not presented yet, you have seen what was done today. I want something that's even better next week. I want everyone. All right? Quickly, what is one thing that they listed? Besides Sunny, someone else. Then you're free. I want more activity. Yes, Bobo. Okay, they listed missionary schools. We are an example of a missionary school founded by the Methodist Church. Give yourself a tick. Someone over here, what is one thing that they compared? Besides Winky, besides Penny, someone new. I'm going to get back. Oh, Samuela, go ahead. Give yourself a tick. Famous schools tend to be big. That's a similarity. In fact, it's a conclusion. All right? You compare the sizes of schools, you compare the famous schools, big schools. There's a correlation there. Okay, that's actually more of a conclusion. That's okay. Give yourself a tick. Yes. What's something that's different? Is there a difference between these things that were compared? Karen?
The size of
Okay, give yourself a tick. What about the size? Can you say a little more about the size? What makes it, what are we contrasting here? Yes. Okay. Oh, give yourself a tick. British schools tend to be larger than Hong Kong schools. That's something that's different as well. Give yourself a tick. That was good. Finally, what can we conclude? John gave an excellent conclusion. He didn't have a slide, but he was speaking pretty well about those points, drawing conclusions. I want one of you guys to conclude something for me. Besides Annie, and okay, Danny, give us something. Okay, give yourself a tick. So the longer the history, what about the size of the campus? It tends to be larger or smaller, big or small? Larger, all right? So the longer a school has been around, it tends to be you have a larger campus. But Methodist College is an old school too, for Hong Kong. Yeah, we're like stuck on a hill. Anyway, okay, you've done a great job. Can you pass? Actually, you know, I'll collect your individual presentations during English lesson. Go. Take care. Oh, do you want to say goodbye to Ms. Lowe? Okay, sorry for keeping you guys. You can leave, all right? Nice job today.
Turn off this also.
Turn it off, Jeremy. Thank you.
This button.
Nice job.